Hello, my name is Martin, otherwise known as Game and Thespian, bringing you my first video covering Destiny information on the Destiny Investors channel. In this video, I'll be covering weapons and abilities primarily, along with a few other things. Very quickly, I'd like to point out that this gameplay is not from the Sony conference, but it was filmed by IGN behind closed doors in the Bungie Theater, so the image and audio quality may not be the best since it wasn't filmed in an HD PVR or anything. Anyways, as you can see on the other side, before entering the wall, there's a huge amount of space, and the Bungie employee playing this says that it is playable. He's just not showing it yet because, well, they want to focus on what they should at the Sony conference. But anyways, first thing I noticed is that the solar flare went off after it hit the ground and not after a certain amount of time. A few other things about it: the recharge rate starts up as soon as it is fired, not when it explodes. It has a recharge rate of approximately 5 seconds, and like I said, doesn't explode until it touches the surface. Another thing that caught my eye was that the player lowers his weapon and the HUD removes itself. I'm assuming that this is what look is, which shows up in the controller layout for the Warlock, but it should probably be universal for all classes. The radar doesn't seem to have anything of super significance. It has an approximate 25-meter distance, I believe, similar to Halo. It can recognize elevation. I'll show you right now in this zoomed-in image. It's a standard dot for the ally, changes into an upward arrow when he's a staircase above, and returns back to normal once the player reaches elevation similar to his ally. I'm assuming that this will be the same for enemies as well. And I'm also going to assume that it'll have the opposite effect, where if someone is under you or a floor below you, that the arrow will point down. In this bit, the two players find themselves in a dark area, so the original player, the Warlock, releases a ghost to serve as a light to help them get through easily. The ghost then scavenges for other light sources within the building to help them see without his specific assistance. Another thing that I noticed is that the ghost doesn't appear to show up on the radar, he's just a companion following you around. Lastly, I'm just going to state that I don't think that the ghost is limited to the Warlock class, simply because if you find yourself in a dark area and you don't have a Warlock in your party, it may be difficult to get through some certain places. The Viper P3 is a primary weapon under the category of a pulse rifle. It has a red dot sight, which is most likely standard, and it's a 3-shot burst weapon. It can hold 27 bullets in a standard magazine, meaning a magazine that hasn't been upgraded, and because it has 27 bullets and it's a 3-shot burst weapon, it means that it can be shot 9 times without having to reload. It has a reload time of about 3.3 seconds with an empty clip, meaning that the magazine has no bullets left inside of it. If it still has bullets inside of it and you decide to reload, that should take about 2.6 seconds. Time between shots is about 0.15 seconds, and as for the damage, it varies from enemy to enemy, but for these level 3 enemies, it takes about 3 shots to kill them. Now, I'm going to rewind to show you guys a slide move, which is done by sprinting and crouching at the same time, because I noticed that when he slid, he switched weapons, or rather made it set for him to switch weapons as soon as he got up, to switch from his Viper P3 to the Duke MK44. Now, the Duke MK44 is a special weapon classified as a hand cannon. It has 7 bullets in its magazine, and it has very strong vertical recoil. The reticle from hipfire does not expand between shots, and it has a reload time of approximately 4.4 seconds. And the time between shots is about half a second. All classes in the game have 2 abilities. For the purposes of this video, I'll call the first one the grenade ability, and the second one the combo ability, since you have to press the 2 bumpers on the controller in order to activate it. So I'm going to go through these abilities in slow motion since there's a lot of them in a row, and it goes by very quickly. So right here the Hunter activates her combo ability, which either takes over the weapon that she is currently using, or simply creates a new one. The weapon seems to have some kind of fire ability, which I assume has some kind of increased damage to it, and after a few seconds it just disappears. The Warlock's combo ability, known as the Nova Bomb, similarly to the Solar Flare, does not explode until it touches the surface, but contrastingly, it doesn't recharge until it activates. It has a recharge rate of approximately 8 seconds and can be used while jumping as seen in the last clip. Then finally, the blast radius is larger than the Solar Flare. In this clip, you'll see the Hunter use her grenade ability, and what I noticed earlier is that those little mini grenades that you just saw pop up can separate if there's more than one enemy. What I'm assuming is that if they decide to separate, that they'll do less damage individually, rather than going to one target and doing standard grenade damage. After defeating the boss by throwing a solar flare at him, the boss drops what I assume to be Glimmer. Glimmer is used in the game in order to upgrade your weapons and possibly your armor, although the latter has yet to be confirmed. The yellow ball is used to give all the players in the party, I believe, a heavy weapon. The Warlock receives a Thunderlord. The heavy weapon gain does not replace any of the weapons already in the player's slots. It is accessed by holding down the button used to cycle between weapons. Many armor pieces and weapons are shown off, such as Moonglass Boots, Summersong Bond, Warsinger's Robe, Common Arm Armor, Nightwind Mask, the Void Basic Warlock Pattern, Viper P3, Duke MK44, and the Thunderlord. Information on many of these tools have still yet to be expounded upon, but it looks like green means common tools, purple means more advanced, and yellow means super advanced. Here's the weapon tree for the Thunderlord. If you want to look through it, go ahead and pause it. It's pretty self-explanatory. Similarly to most upgrade trees, you'll have to go through the list in order to upgrade things later on in the chain. The Thunderlord is a heavy weapon classified as an exotic machine gun. It has a magazine clip of 36 bullets, a reload time of approximately 6.2 seconds, about 0.15 seconds pass between bullets similar to the Viper P3, and it has medium to high vertical recoil. The heavy weapon that the Hunter receives is a sniper rifle, or an exotic sniper rifle known as Closing Time. Not much else about this weapon is known yet. After reaching the other side of the wall, the players run into their friend who is a Titan. The Titan comes up to them and shows him his, what I assume to be, combo move. As of now, we don't know the name for sure, but he calls it
more space magic!
After enthusiastically introducing us to his space magic, the Titan shows off what I presume to be the, God, I hope I don't slaughter the name, Gala Horn? It's an exotic rocket launcher, and like this sniper rifle, we don't know much about it. The last thing that I was able to scavenge from E3 was a very, very quick first-person shot of the Gala Horn in use. All I can really take away from it is that the scope zooms in, and there's also a little tiny explosion, which I'll show again in super duper slow motion. If that explosion is actually from the Gala Horn, then that would mean that it has no recoil, but again, I'm not sure. It could have just been something else that showed up over there. I highly doubt that it's from the exotic rocket launcher. Anyways, that's it for this video, guys. Be sure to comment for any ideas you would like us to discuss or something to cover on. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and be sure to subscribe to be notified of more Destiny coverage, news, gameplay, and more. See you Starside.